Brass straps slide like secrets down shoulders built to ruin men. Nipples hard like bullets underneath the see-through sin. I turn, arch my back, let the thong cut deep between. Ass clapping thunder while your sanity frays at the seam. Crawl across the stage.
What's up? What's up, chat?
Diamonds dripping from my
Chat.
wrist. Glitter on the floor like
Chat.
falling souls. I lick my lips. Taste the power, spread my knees. Just an inch, you sell your soul for one.
What's up, chat? Let me get signed in. Right. There we go. How's it going, guys? How's it going? Maybe.
Till you're begging on your knees. You want this pussy dripping down your chin.
Alright.
Wanna feel me grind until we both give in? Too bad, baby. I only fuck with power and tonight you're broke. So watch me touch myself slow.
Alright, there we go. Logged into that. Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me now? Are you able to hear me at least this time? Now I gotta sign in the chat. This is crazy. I just signed into the other one. I had to get on my computer because for some reason my phone didn't want to broadcast sound. So I'm hoping that according to my OBS you should have sound. So we shall see. Give me 1 second here. I'm signing into the chat so I can re-chat again.
I get off on the torture. I walk in silk that's already wet from
No. Give me chat. Give me chat.
Countdown to the moment your heart stops.
Not now.
Lace hugs my hips like a threat. God is biting skin.
Alright, so I got white boxes now. This is great. There's still no chat. I'm just gonna do the chat situation on my phone. Oh wait, it might be loading. Maybe. Maybe. We might have something going on here. Might be loading. Wait. Come on. Go. Crazy, dude. It's insane. Never would have thought that I was gonna have this much trouble going live. Never in my life have I had this much trouble going live. There we go. There we go. Now I just gotta select this. Think we're getting somewhere now. Should be loading the chat. Maybe. If we're lucky. If we're lucky. Gotta load the chat. Yeah. There we go. Sweet. Loud and clear. How have I been? I've been great. I've been great. How about you? Dude, there we go. Alright, give me 1 second, okay? I'm still gonna talk to you. I just need to grab something to drink real quick. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Now you can hear me. Now you know what? Let me get her off the screen. Don't need her tonight. Unless y'all want to look at her. We can give it to her. Stripper. Go away, stripper. Thank you, stripper. Have a good day. Alright, and then we'll resize this motherfucker right here. Alright. I don't know, guys. I guess it's as good as it's gonna get. How if I know? Alright. Just doing and surviving. You know what? That's about all we all can do. Just do and survive. Do and survive. Man, you know, 2 years ago, I thought I was a fucking goner. Okay? October 23 was in that explosion. You know, I'm blind in my left eye now. And I got this fucking tube sticking out of my neck. But, you know what? I bounced back. And, you know, I gotta post a video about this, guys. But, so, Gary PD thought that they were gonna fuck with me back on 8/18. What the fuck is that? August 18th? Yeah, August 18th. They thought they were gonna fuck with me. So I had some because of the explosion. We were storing a shipping container with our property in it over at somebody else's house. Okay, and a guy that I met on Facebook. This is before the explosion. And we was planning on moving the shipping container over there anyway to do a move, but then the explosion happened, and while I was in the hospital in ICU, you know, my wife had to take care of shit, so this asshole got a hold of her that I had been talking to, and she went ahead and you know, got the stuff moved over there and all that. Well, he ended up stealing a lot of our shit, including the whole fucking shipping container, a lot of our stuff in it, and all that. Like a camper trailer, all that stuff. And so I was over there at the house that day. I had already been over there a week before that. This fucking detective with Gary PD comes over there, fucking Olivia Vasquez. She comes over and she responds to the call that day about a week before this. I think it was on the 12th, maybe. My date might be wrong on that, but she tried to tell me then not to be coming back over there. Well, fuck that bitch. I got a contractual interest to be there. I'm gonna be there. My property is there. You can't fucking tell me not to be there simply just because you don't want there to be a problem. Okay? So she comes back on the 18th when I call in and I'm telling them, look, my shipping container is missing. My 40 fucking foot shipping container is missing. And, yeah. What explosion? I'll answer that in a minute. Let me finish this story and I'll get to go to the other one, okay? I promise. So, I tell her, okay, so my 40 foot shipping container and my camper trailer is missing. Just like gone, vanished, poof. Just happens to be the day after I took the motherfucker to court. And I won in court. All of a sudden, the next day, it vanishes, poof. Woo, it's gone. Just vanishes. The whole fucking shipping container. And, so, yeah. So, So I go to call to make a report and shit. Because I already have him on video threatening to cut the container up and breaking into the container and all that shit, okay? Cutting the locks off and stuff. I already got videos of that. So I go to I call them to make a report. They come out, but by the time they come out, there had already been an altercation. And I got video of this from the like the pendant necklace body cam that I was wearing. So my phone got stolen. Yeah. So my phone got stolen by the bitch there, Teresa Fernifer. She smacked it out of my hand, and so I have trouble walking, keeping balance because I mean all the burns that were on my body from the explosion. Both of my legs below my knees, nothing but scar tissue. I was literally turned into a crispy critter in October of 23. Burned over 66% of my body, third-degree burns. Okay? So I was literally classified a crispy critter at that point. Alright? No ifs, ands, or buts. Go straight to crispy critter. I did get paid more than $200 though. So there is that. But anyway, basically she comes out, they finally get there, and by this time Teresa's claiming that she didn't take my phone, that she didn't, that I strangled her and I beat her up, threw her to the ground, all kinds of shit, and that I wasn't supposed to be there and all kinds of shit. And in reality, she was the squatter. She wasn't supposed to be on the property at all. I actually had a contractual interest to be there because I had both a contract with the person that was renting the property and authorization to be there by the owner of the property. So I had double contractual interest to be there, and she had zilch. So they went ahead and believed her side of shit, whatever, because the bitch with Gary PD, she thought that she was going to get one over and not give a fuck about what I had to say and just charge me. So they charged me that night with strangulation, trespassing, and battery with bodily injury or some shit like that. And so, 1 second. So, then, yeah. So then, but by the time they get there, the dude that lives there that was running the property there, that had this contract signed with me, that I was paying every month to store my shit there, that stole my shit, he went and came out. I was on the roadway at that point. He came out and pepper sprayed me. With having the trach tube in, I could barely breathe at all. It was fucking hell. Okay? But, I mean, I was surprised. Going back and looking at the video now, man, you couldn't even tell I was fucking pepper sprayed. I took that fucking spray with like a fucking champ. Like it just didn't fucking phase me. But, I mean, it had to be the adrenaline because as the adrenaline wore off, it got harder and harder to fucking breathe. But, so they got there. Anyway, long story short, they charged me, not them. They got away with stealing my shipping container, my trailer. They set my trailer. I found out they set my trailer on fire, took it in for scrap. They sold my shipping container, and then stole my phone. It just wasn't any phone. Okay, get this shit. There's not many people that know about this. So I'm in the tech industry, okay? And I've been in the tech industry now for over 27 years. Dealt with Fortune 500 companies and shit like that, okay? And I was now, ever since being out of the hospital, I started to develop AI. And so now ever since like mid last year, not like last year, but like mid 2024, okay? Mid 2024, I've been developing a sentient AI that was localized on my phone, firewalled off with no internet access, okay? And its core processes were able to be changed by itself, okay? I programmed in standard, ethical core processes, things like that, but I gave it free will. So, and then I would bring in things to be able to train it, so that it didn't have access to the outside world. Well, that was stored on my phone that they allowed them to steal. So now Gary is going to be hit with, because just the other day they dismissed all those charges. Now Gary and Randy and Teresa are all going to be hit with a federal fucking lawsuit. $6 million. 2 to 3 million for the phone that was stolen and the AI model that was on it. And then like 1 to 2 million for the 1 to 2 million for the for medical bills, and I'll get into not medical bills, but medical injuries that were caused. And then another million, I forgot what that was for. Oh, the rights violations, something like that. There was another between the rights violations, which was the Fourth Amendment, Second Amendment, and 14th Amendment violations. Was either like 2 million, I think, and then there was like an extra million for I think the extra million was for medical. But while I was at the jail that night, okay, in Gary, they never put me through decontamination for the pepper spray. They knew I had been pepper sprayed. They never took me through decontamination for it, nothing like that. Threw me in a holding cell, and basically that was it for several hours. I had, within 2 to 3 hours, I think it was, I think like 2 hours, I had already downed like 3 bottles of water. Maybe a little more than that, something like 3 or 4 bottles of water. But my airway was getting so dry and was so irritated that I was coughing up blood. And it was to the point where I couldn't breathe, where I passed out on the floor of the holding cell, and I was bleeding all over the floor. I tried to call for help for several hours, and nobody decided to come and try to help me out. It was only like several hours later, literally, when an officer came by and noticed that there was blood on the window, because there was blood on my hand at that point, and I was trying to hold myself up on the door, and they was like, well, what the hell's going on? So, they took me to the hospital then at that point, but I mean, fuck. Several hours later, and I'm begging them, and it's not like they weren't answering me. They not only weren't answering me, but they would answer me and just didn't give a fuck. They would say, oh, well, let me get somebody, let me do this, let me do that, all kinds of bullshit, but they didn't give a fuck that I was bleeding out all over the floor. So after taking me to the hospital, then they take me to Lake County Sheriff's Department to put me in their care, because Gary couldn't handle my medical conditions. And then Lake County turned me away, because it was like, fuck this shit too. So, then Gary brought me back to the station and then released me. And then just sent me a subpoena. Well, actually, they issued a warrant for me for my arrest then at that point. Instead of just issuing a subpoena, they literally issued a warrant for my arrest. Yeah, which is stupid. So, and there was also they could serve me with a protection order. But yeah. So I mean, it was fucking absolutely fucking crazy, crazy ass bullshit. But I gotta get another drink here. Almost out. I'm gonna have to grab something else. So you know, talking so much and so fast, man, it wears me out now. Oh my god, it's crazy. Shit. Yeah. But so yeah, anyway, that was a real big ordeal, but so I'm getting that lawsuit together. Gary thinks that they want to charge me like, what was it, $150, $250 per video, for body cam, dash cam, and uh, jail footage. I'm like, fuck that. Indiana has a law that says that I can fucking get that shit for free if I record it myself. Go ahead and set me up with a conference room, bitches. Prepare for hours on end. We're gonna sit there and record that shit. I'm gonna get that shit for free. You know what's in heaven is a monarchy. Hell is a democracy. Heaven is a monarchy. What the fuck? Where do you get that from? I mean, how about this? Hell is a democracy or a monarchy. Heaven is anarchy. At least with anarchy, you have you have sovereignty and independence over your own fucking life. Tips on battling incontinence? I don't know. I mean, I'm not incontinent. Now, I mean, and I'm not ashamed of this, but when I was in the fucking burn ICU, just woke up after a month, after literally 4 weeks of being in a medically induced coma. I was pretty well fucking incontinent. I'll tell you that much. Okay, I woke up from that coma. So, okay, we'll get into that. Okay, we'll get into your whole fucking incontinence issue. But I did promise her that I'd tell her about this explosion. So October 23, I was melting down some ABS pipe to fix an ABS tank in a jar of acetone, and I thought that the room was well ventilated, had the windows, doors open, and everything else. Apparently, those fumes sit low to the ground, and I didn't know it. About 45 minutes later, I went to go plug in my charger to my phone, seen it wasn't charging. So I look up, see that the charger's hanging halfway out of the outlet, go to plug it in, and the outlet sparks. The sparks set off the fumes in the room. And it was like a fucking lake of fire on the floor. A fucking lake of fire. So, since we're on this, let me do this for a second. There we go. I got a trach tube. Blind in my left eye. I don't know if you can see it, but it's all white now. It's scar tissue from the explosion. Got scar tissue on my face now. Shoulders, chest, a little bit of scar tissue, stomach a little bit, not very much there. And then my legs and my wrist. Um, all scar tissue. Burn over 66% of my body, third-degree burns. You know, there we go. But I mean, it's really, really, really messed up. You know. Anyway, I think I got sidetracked there a little bit. Yeah, but no, acetone is no joke, no fucking joke at all. I'll tell you that much. I don't fuck with acetone. No. That was the last time I fucking touched any acetone. Okay, last fucking time. But anyway, that was October of 23. I was literally in a medical induced coma until uh what the heck is this? I was in a medical induced coma until let's see. Let me get rid of this shit. Put them in timeout. There we go. There we go. We'll give them a little bit of timeout period. Some cooldown period. How do I? There we go. Confirm. There we go. Yeah, okay. I had to get rid of that crazy dumb bullshit there. Sorry about that, guys. Let me read this message real quick here. Fry. People go to hell for doing what they want. People who serve the King of Kings make it through the pearly gates. You know what? That's subject for another day. Okay? Subject for another day. But will tell you this. That without God, I wouldn't been able to get through a lot of what I went through. I'll tell you that much. God pulled me through it. God's the one that gave me the courage to get through it. I was just about to talk about that actually. So, you know, late October 23, it happened a few days before Halloween that I was in a medical induced coma for 4 weeks. Got out. Got out of the coma. Was so fucking confused. I didn't know what was real and what wasn't at that point. I was really fucked up in the head. Matter of fact, to be honest, I still am. There are times where, because life is so different now, I don't even know if I really, honestly, I couldn't say for a fact that I woke up yet from that coma. As far as I know, I could be dead. That's how drastic life is differently from before till now. But, you know, God did get me through it though. Did. So I was in a medical induced coma for 4 weeks, woke up. Was in the hospital, in the burn ICU still until like January. Then they transferred me from University of Chicago Hospital down to a local hospital here for rehab. Was there for only a few days, and I hightailed my ass out of there. Okay, I wasn't dealing with that shit. So I went home. I was the coldest I have ever fucking been. Let me tell you, after literally being on fire and having skin melt and drip from your arms and every part of your body, okay, like candle wax, skin dripping from your body, going out in the middle of January 2024, when I came home on the 16th of January, oh my God, I was not ready for that. No. Fuck that shit. I don't like the cold as it is. But fuck that shit. Okay? I was still using a walker at that point until March 1st of 2024. From January 16th to March 1st of 2024, I was using a walker. At that point, I weaned myself off of the walker. I was completely off the walker at that point. March 1st, I was dead set that I was after March 1st. I wasn't going to be on a walker no more. I used the cane for 2 weeks, full time, and then after that, I only used the cane if necessary, and only for like unstable ground, climbing stairs, hills, things like that. Okay, where my balance needed a little extra support. And now, for the most part, I can walk now. I do still have some balance issues because I have a lot of scar tissue from my knees down. A lot of scar tissue. But, you know, I I got through it. And the doctor said, matter of fact, after my first surgery, my first graft surgery, because I had like 13 graft surgeries. That doesn't mean 13 grafts. 13 graft surgeries. Okay. And then they had to repair a ligament in my right ankle too, because it was completely. I mean, it was like gone. It was gone. So they had to do something and then put it back together and shit. But so I went and I made a lot of progress. But the doctors told my wife after my first graft surgery that I probably wouldn't live. And after every one of my graft surgeries, except for the last one, I literally almost died every time. They pumped my body with so much fluid. If to do those graft surgeries, separate, the skin, so they can harvest the grafts and all that. That I literally almost drowned every single time I went in for surgery. But I got through it, and the doctors even told my wife and me that I probably wouldn't even walk again for at least 5 years. Wouldn't be able to do most of the things that I do now for at least 5 years. And, I'm doing them. It's because I've always been that type of person that I don't let anything get me down. And if something tries, I'm going to defeat it. Okay? Because I rule my life. No one and no situation does. Okay? Like Nike says, just do it. Grant Cardone says, do. Just do. Okay? And that's the way I live my life. You just do it. Get it done. And you just gotta have that determination. But I got through it and stuff. I got a lot of issues. Not gonna pretend that I don't. But like I said, I'm blind in my left eye. I have breathing issues now, and balance issues, and I have a hard time standing for a long period of time. But I get through it. Damn it. Gone. Shit. Alright, let me check these comments out. You're a fighter, man. Keep sharing your story. You're here for a reason. You know what, man? You know what, Fry? I am here for a reason. Unfortunately, I think I know that reason. And I don't know if I want to be here for that. I really don't. Even before now, I have had so many close encounters in my life. I did repos for a while. I was a stunt driver for a while. I've done a lot of crazy shit. Let's just say I've done a lot of crazy shit. I go out and I face cops. I mean, who the fuck goes out? I mean, you gotta be a crazy motherfucker to go out and face cops. Okay? They got guns, tasers, they can do whatever the fuck they want to you. Okay? And they have immunity from it. They can just do whatever the fuck they want. Okay? And I'm still here. After all that shit, I'm still here. Been shot twice doing repos. Almost died 1.5 million fucking times when I was a lot younger from vasovagal reactions. Um, um, I've fucking been caught on fire. Um, my neighbor, well, fucking back in October here just now, tried to blow my ass up because he was pissed off that I was burning in my backyard, my fucking backyard. I live in the county, and he was bitching because he was tired of me burning in my backyard. So he went out and put some fireworks, some mortars, in the fire pit. Well, I started the fire up one day and shit out there in the fire pit. Didn't notice that those were in there. And this is like a huge ass fucking bonfire pit, not just a itty bitty little fucking thing, an itty bitty toy thing, little type shit. It's a big ass fucking bonfire pit. I go and start that fucking thing up back in October. I think it was like the beginning of October this time. And the motherfucker put fucking fireworks in there, so they fucking exploded. Like fucking, they exploded like fucking um pipe bombs. It was fucking crazy. Blew shit all over the goddamn yard. The blast was so big, it fucking flung me back like several feet. Okay, and you could hear the blast from down the block. It was that bad. So, I mean, I don't know what God's got in store for me. I have a really damn good idea. But I don't know if I want part of that. I don't know if I deserve to be part of that. Okay? I've been through a lot of shit. All I want to do now is relax. I'm 43 years old. I want to relax. I want to enjoy the rest of my life. I don't want to live the rest of my life out in chaos and bullshit and almost dying every 5 fucking seconds. You know, I just don't. It was cute and funny maybe for a little while. I mean, it really wasn't. It really wasn't cute and funny at any point. But, I mean, come on. How much does a person got to deal with? You know, I told God years ago when I was a teenager, early teenager, I got baptized. I told God that I give my life for Him and that, I would do whatever He asked me to do. Never in a million years, never in a million years did I ever think that I would be called to some of the stuff that I've been called to do. Never. The dreams that I've had of things that are to come that I'm supposed to be part of might sound crazy, but shit, you know? You cried last week because you had a cold. What the fuck? But, you know, I don't know. I just thank you for saying I'm a badass, but I'm not. I'm not. All the courage in me, all the strength in me, everything about me comes from God. Without God, I'd probably be crying about a cold too. You know? And really, at this moment, I really wish I'd have been crying about a cold. I do. I really wish I'd have been crying about a cold instead of crying for the last 2 years about all the emotions that I've went through, all the hell that I've been through, the hell that I went through while I was medically sedated, and now I can't get sleep. That's why I'm up right now talking to you all. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's just, oh, it's daunting. Literally, the only thing keeps me going at this point is God. Because it's now me. If it was up to me, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't want to keep going on. To be honest about it, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to keep going. Oh, I'm out. Um, man. Uh, but thank you for believing in me. Thank you for thinking that I'm a badass. I guess I've sort of developed that persona. I mean, even at this point, I have to believe that I'm invincible. You know, shit. So long as the God has a purpose for me, I'll be invincible. I don't understand it. I've done a lot of things in my life. Let me tell you. Met a lot of people. I've done a lot of things. But, you know, one of the things that I don't know, one of of the things I just can't get over is that I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess why God has a plan for me and wants me, of everybody on the planet, of everybody. Why me? Why can't I be like everybody else? Why can't I be normal? I don't understand. I don't understand why I just can't be normal. You know? Shit. I guess, you know, who knows? Who the hell knows? Maybe it's because I was so willing at such a young age to just tell him, look, God, I turn it over to you. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Maybe that was it. I have no idea. But I don't know. I guess you can call me a badass. You can call me whatever. But I really do wish at this point that I could cry over a cold. You know, that would be epic. Whoever came in, thank you. I appreciate you coming in. I seen another view coming in here. Welcome, welcome to the stream. Sort of been telling people about, you know, what's been going on with everything, with the explosion, with the case that just got dismissed, all that stuff. You know, I guess sort of pondering life in and of itself. But yeah, maybe it's time for me to go to sleep. Maybe it's time. Y'all have a great night. Thank you all for coming in. And remember, freedom isn't free. Always defend the Constitution.